Corey was winded, and I wasn't far behind. We had managed to catch up to the twins well enough. The last berry was all that remained, and it still had a little swing to it. They were but a step ahead of us now, having exhausted their supply of preset berries. Finally, Corey and I released the last berry, only seconds after closing the distance. We had done it. By this time we were well under the canopy, nearing the peak in the arch of the bowing branches. This was as far as we were to go. The twins were somewhere high above, obscured by the large spade-shaped leaves of the allicine. I dropped to the ground to catch my breath. Corey heaved the same, sweaty and gasping. The twins were somewhere in the foliage above, their snickering indicative of their approximate location. "Looks like your challenge has been met, you cheating devils. Is that all you've got?" Corey shouted up into the trees. He huffed as he bent over to catch himself on his knees. No response came from above. Maybe they didn't hear his words, or perhaps they were up to something more. Suddenly the answer came crashing down, 4 berries in rapid succession. This was the big finish we had come to anticipate from the twins. Corey and I looked to one another, wide-eyed. I was finished with this game before the last berry was wrestled to the ground. Discretion to the wind, I pulled my stone knife from my waistcloth. Corey smiled and took his knife in hand as well. Ropes still dangled behind us like markers along our trail. The twins had these ready to drop all along, waiting for the finale. Clearly, we were free to improvise as well. We raced into action. Corey grabbed hold and swung onto the closest of the 4 berries, slashing at the rope that suspended it as I ran for the second. I jumped at it, catching the ropes that bound it with my free hand. I fumbled for a better grip as the berry continued swinging through the air. I lunged my knife into the berry to pull myself to the top, soaking the hides of my tunic and waistcloths in the sticky, sweet, dark juices of the risenberry. This was a blatant foul. I climbed up to my feet and slashed the rope, which popped with the release of tension. I tucked and rolled to dismount the berry, rising to my feet and dashing for the last 2. Corey was already mounting one of them, and as he did so, it crossed paths with the last remaining berry. The ropes began to intertwine, sending the berry spinning round on a collision course. They accelerated as the spiral gradually narrowed. I made for the other berry, this time clenching my knife between my teeth to free both my hands. I caught hold of the ropes, the momentum slinging me high and pulling hard against my grip. The berries were a moment away from colliding. Corey and I cut the ropes in near unison, rolling away in opposite directions. The berries touched, dropped to the ground, and jolted away from one another. The game was finished. Cass and Pole cheered from the canopy as Corey and I stood before our efforts. A trail of berries reached out to the distal ends of the drooping branches. We had left our competition far behind, as those close enough to witness our shenanigans were most distracted from their work by the sight of us wrestling flying berries across the shaded fields. "You're covered. What happened?" Corey asked through heaving breaths. Surely he had already noticed the oozing gash along the crown of the berry I had stabbed. "I caught one. Sorry, brother," I responded, scratching at my head in embarrassment. The berry juice smelled both fruity and sweet, delicious, even for shame. "I wouldn't worry about it. Those 2 cheats already busted one anyways. They can't base a victory on a lesser blunder. It's a clean cut. Not smashed to bits like the one back there," Corey reasoned. The berries were meant to be brought down intact, so they were easy to move. Round berries rolled nicely across the soft, dark soil of the shaded fields. Injured berries tended to rupture further when rolled, or simply could not be rolled at all. One by one the ropes dropped from the canopy. Corey and I helped gather them, neatly displaying the ends of the ropes we'd sliced on top as we awaited the twins. Eventually the 2 made their way down the broad trunks of the allicine. The soft leathery skin of the trees split in the dry season, leaving large fleshy scars when greener new skin developed to heal the wounds. The allicine were perfect for climbing, and we had been climbing along the gentle contour of the arching forest for years by this point. The twins came scuttling down one of the arched trunks adjacent to the tree in which they had been working. The 2 were already snickering. My right side was splashed and spattered with dark blue, a clear indication of my offense. The worn gray hide of my tunic took the brunt of it, and was most certain to keep a shade of color to it. It didn't matter to me in the slightest. I was actually kind of proud to have it. The symbol of a challenge met. The twins made their way over to where Corey and I stood. One of the berries still oozed from an obvious slash. The 2 of them took notice immediately. "Looks like you've got a little something on you there, Kael. Could that be juice from a risenberry, perhaps?" Pole teased with a sinister grin. They clearly assumed to have gotten the better of us. "You know, I think it is. One of these berries is bleeding out, Pole." Cass gasped as he kicked at the wounded berry. "And it looks like they cut a few of the ropes as well. Tisk tisk." They were clearly having fun with us. Neither of them really cared about the challenge nor the ropes it had taken days to make. It was all play, as was everything to them. "What's gotten into you 2, Pole teased. "Slashing ropes, stabbing helpless berries. Honestly, to treat the sacred fruit in this manner, you should be ashamed." He stomped about playfully as he spoke. "Kael, is it safe to assume you are the slasher then?" he asked with a raised brow. "Aye, that one there," I responded, pointing to the wounded berry. "2 of the ropes as well." "Noble as always, Kael. Thanks for your honesty." Cass nodded with a stern face and serious tone before bursting with a jubilant smile. Well, looks like Poe and I win this round. As you know, damaging a berry counts against you. A blatant foul. A foul indeed. Sorry, kids. Guess you'll have to try again next season, Poe agreed. A smile crept over his smug face. Corey had been ready for their nonsense and wasted no time setting the twins straight on the matter. Damaging a berry is a foul, is it? Then what about the ones you squashed at the beginning, you oafs? You were disqualified from the start if that were the case, he growled. The twins wouldn't concede that easily. We didn't do that bit, Cass denied. Nope, not responsible. All we did was cut the stem. After that, it squashed all on its own, Poe agreed, crossing his arms and shaking his fluffy head. Cass quickly added, and that's just nature's way. We were simply aiding the will of the Great Mother in a very natural process. If anything, we should receive a bonus for that. Corey was on the verge of fury. Bonus? Ha! You hacked at it with an axe, you twiggy twit. How is that natural? Whoa now, there's no need for name-calling, brother. We only hacked the stems, and there's nothing against that in the official rules. Neither Cass nor I laid an axe to any fruit today, Poe offered, happy to prolong the squabble. Indeed, he's right. Best to leave the berry slashing to the pros. Right, Kael? Cass teased with a wink. I gave a nod, bringing a fist to my chest in bravado. I took pride in my ability to deliver a good slashing, berry or not. It was good fun, and I counted it as a victory regardless.